This is the Hyundai i30 and it's the regular version which you can pretty much buy from any showroom around the country and take home with you straight away. But down here is a car that you could have a bit of trouble finding because it's a limited edition and there's only 180 of them in Australia. The i30 Drive-N Limited. Welcome to Four Wheels and a Seat. I'm Alex Dalrymple and this is my channel where I review new cars every week. To make sure you don't miss one, hit the subscribe button down below, and if you enjoy the video, give me a like as well. So I kind of am breaking my own rules showing you this car this week because you could have a hard time finding one. There's only 800 of them in existence, 180 of those are in Australia. It's been out for 6 months and i30N orders are currently paused by Hyundai. So if you can find one of these, make sure you snap it up because it is set to become a collector's item and it's freaking awesome. So from the outside, this car is pretty much the same as the i30N Premium. There are a few differences though, including the blacked out Hyundai badge here, stickers down the bottom there at the front, and they continue here on the side. The wheels are one of the biggest differences, however. We've got dark bronze 19-inch alloys here that look so good, and I love those red end brake calipers there too. The badge here on the side with the coordinates of the Nürburgring on it, because that is after all where this car is developed. We've got a panoramic sunroof up here on top, and from the back again another blacked out Hyundai badge, those two beautiful big exhausts that make an awesome noise, and the black i30 there just to finish off the look here at the rear. The engine, same as the i30N Premium, so it's a 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that outputs 206 kilowatts of power and 392 Newton meters of torque. 0 to 100 in 5.3 seconds, which is half a second faster than the manual version of this car, because this is indeed the 8-speed dual clutch transmission automatic. And fuel economy comes in at an average of 8.5 litres per 100 Ks on a combined cycle. The boot is the same as the regular i30, although we did lose a bit of space because of the rear torsion bar. Under the floor, we've got a space saver spare tyre, and it's actually quite a usable and practical space. Inside, and Hyundai have done a pretty good job in making this older interior feel a little bit special and have given it a sense of occasion, and basically that means putting Alcantara on every major touch point. The center console screen in this car has been updated and enlarged since when it was first released. It also now features a new version of the software, which is a little bit different to the one you find in the i30 Sedan N. My favorite screen, of course, being the N mode, where you can customize your drive mode. You get G-force information. You can see what's going on with turbo, torque, and power. Plus there is a lap timer as well as a 0 to 100 timer. Down here, next to the wireless phone charging, is this car's exclusive Drive-N Limited badging, which shows that this particular car is number 622 of 800, which guarantees its collectability in years to come. We get Alcantara on the N gear shifter here. It's on the park brake as well, and we get it up here on the armrest on top of the small little center console bin there. We've got an Alcantara covered steering wheel, which feels fantastic. It feels rock solid. The steering is nice and heavy, although it can be adjusted. We've got paddle shifters on the back here, the drive mode button, the N mode button here on the wheel, and another button labeled NGS, which stands for N Green Shift. So named because when you push this button, you're guaranteed to green. It actually overcharges the turbocharger and unleashes this car's full power for 20 seconds only, and you get a little countdown on the instrument cluster there to show you how much longer you have left in this full power mode, and it makes the exhaust pop like crazy. It is so much fun, especially if you're going downhill in a tunnel. Seating position is fantastic, of course. We've got great visibility. The seats are Alcantara with leather accents. They're proper racing buckets. We've got holes up the back here for a racing harness, and the lit up N badge here, which is maybe something that Hyundai have borrowed from BMW, but it does look really, really cool. Look, let's be honest, backseat passengers are not really a major priority in this car because frankly, this is all about the enjoyment of the driver, not so much the rear seat passenger. So look, actually, The space back here isn't too bad. I'm 190 centimeters tall. I'm behind my own seating position. I'm only really sort of just touching the seat in front of me. Headroom's not so great, probably because of the beautiful panoramic sunroof we have here that really does stretch all the way to the back of the car. There's no USB charging back here, which could be a bit of a problem for families. I forgot to mention while I was sitting in the front seat that we have red seat belts in this car, which are very nice. I love those. And an armrest with cup holders. So look, for a short trip back here is fine. Family road trip could be a little bit problematic though, especially with the firm suspension. I'm actually on my way now to go go-karting, which will be, it's probably a good thing that I'm actually doing this driving test before I go go-karting, because go-karting can kind of give you a bit of a false sense of security and make you a little too overly confident in your abilities. I don't think that taking this car for a road test after go-karting would be such a good idea. The suspension is certainly firm, and you can just feel the stiffness of the chassis when you go around corners enthusiastically. It stays absolutely level flat. But of course, the beauty of the customizable N-Drive mode means you can adjust the firmness of the suspension and the heaviness of the steering, which, look, I like heavy, but I can tell it's not for everyone. And to be honest, it's really not great when you're getting in and out of a tight parking spot. But if you're on the track, it is nothing short of amazing. I'm firmly of the belief that Hyundai need to introduce a new rule where they will not sell this car to someone who does not guarantee to take it to the track at least once a month. Do you have any idea how hard it is to get a hold of an i30N at the moment? And they're selling them to people who just drive them around on suburban roads only? Like, what a waste. The funny thing is that a car like this actually really does lend itself to somewhat antisocial behavior, because out of the factory, it comes with this incredibly loud exhaust that is so easy to pop and crackle, and in a tunnel, sometimes you just can't help yourself. It's too much fun. But the great thing about the i30N that makes it such a good choice for being a daily driver is that when you put it into normal mode, yes, it's still kind of obnoxious and over the top, but it's quite a bit quieter and a lot more sort of well behaved. So it has this sort of other life as a track car, but it can also be quite a practical runaround during the week. All right, speed limit change here. We're going from 80 to 100. Oh my God. Green shift living up to its name with that. Another difference between this car and the previous i30N I drove was that this one actually seems a tiny bit more refined on the highway. I remember that in sport mode in that car, you'd get this drony kind of noise coming through the cabin while you were cruising along at 110. This car doesn't have that. They seem to have fixed it. 0 to 100 in the Hyundai i30 Drive N Limited is officially 5.3 seconds with this dual clutch transmission. So let's see what that's like. Oh my God. Had a bit of wheel spin off the line there, but it was really, really good. This car does have launch control. I'm personally a little uncomfortable using that on a public road, but good to know you can. Safety gear in this car includes parking sensors, rear cross traffic alert, and blind spot collision avoidance. It is pleasing looking down at the dash at the old school analog dials. There seem to be a bit of a vanishing breed, and look, I'm all for digital displays, but in this car, it just feels a bit more authentic having the old school ones. In the past, when Hyundai have offered me an i30N to drive, I've usually always gone for the manual just because it's so much fun. But you know, I think I was actually wrong. This DCT Auto is amazing. And at $56,200 plus on-road costs, it is really good value. The only problem is you're gonna have a hard time finding one, but if you can, just buy it, because this is the best i30 that's ever been made.